Hello, everyone. Good evening. This is our fifth session in the Marathon YouTube Live series. We have in the past done multiple sessions on design thinking, gaming. Just this week, we did something on artificial intelligence. And we've also done one session on all that you need to know about marathon. Today, we are halfway through the journey with just 1 month to go for the marathon to close. We are back with another session where we will be giving you an in-depth view on what is marathon, how you can participate, what prizes are in store for you. And this will be followed by a very special session by Mr. Manohar Desai, who is also on the call today. And he will be talking to all the students on how you can identify a problem around you and then what you have to do once you identify that problem. He will also share his experience with teachers on how they can include students from non-science backgrounds, students who are not from their school but from community schools within their teams in the marathon. All students and teachers, please stay tuned right till the end for all these tips and tricks. Let me begin today's session with a brief on marathon, followed by answering some of the questions that the students have shared with us through the Google form that we had given them. As promised earlier, we will be sharing the tips and tricks at the end of the session. So let's get started with a brief on marathon. Here is a short video that I'm going to play for you. It's by one of our students of ATL Marathon 2 years back who had participated, had been in the top teams, and just few months back, him and his fellow friends from the marathon have won 200,000 US dollars, and they were the first team all over the world, and that is from India and from Nuttall Tinkering Lab, to win this IBM's Call for Code Challenge. And they met during the marathon. They learned innovation during this marathon. And let's hear their journey through this short video, and then we'll go forward with marathon slides. Are you able to hear, Manohar sir, the audio?
Yes, I can hear.
I think I will, for the benefit of others, just optimize the audio.
We are here sitting as global winner of IBM Call for Code because we participated in ATL Tinkering Marathon only. Our whole journey started with ATL Tinkering Marathon, and from there we got opportunity to intern at IBM, Dell. Also, we got chance to showcase our project at AIM Series delegation at New Delhi and Sochi and various other venues, from where we learn lots of things regarding IP, design thinking, how to make a good product, and it helped us to change our overall mindset from job seekers to job providers. So, if you want to be the change, I would suggest everyone to participate in this year's ATL Tinkering Marathon. धन्यवाद.
So as you could hear this student speaking, he's just like all of you. He participated in the marathon, he met his friends and took that journey to the next stage. His innovation was about Saaf water. It's called Saaf water. It was started with a very basic problem that in his village, the water that used to come was not clean and people used to fall sick. His own mother was ill because of this, and he decided that there was a need to find a solution for it. And now his solution was identified as number one in the world for IBM's challenge, and his team has won $200,000 to take this ahead. You never know, in a few months down the line, his solution might be in your neighborhood, in your village, in your city also. And that's coming from another tinkering lab. So, coming back to this year's marathon, every year we try and give you new problems, new themes to solve. This year's theme is on the 75th year of independence that we are celebrating this year. So India is 75, and there are four theme areas called education, healthcare, nutrition, social inclusion, and energy and transportation. These are selected from our policymakers from the government itself who are working on the ground. They have told us that these are the areas where you can ask students to find a solution, and there are specific problem statements also listed under each of them. You can pick any of these, or you can pick any other statement, any other problem that you see in your neighborhood that you want to solve. So, what is new this year? Like I mentioned, the problems itself are coming from those that make the laws, that make the policies in India. And that is something new that we're doing this year. So, whatever you make and whatever your innovations are, the top innovations will flow back to them. And maybe some of them will be implemented on a national scale as well. The other interesting thing that you're doing this year is you get the flexibility to curate your own problem statement. If you don't like or relate to anything that we have listed, choose your own and find a solution for that. Finally, the last one, we are connecting all of the ATL students to the government, being the public part, and the private companies who will offer internships to the top teams who come out of the marathon this year. So, what are the milestones of marathon? Firstly, we asked students to vote on the most relatable problem statements. This happened in November. After that, all of you voted, around 4,000 children voted, and the most popular problem statements were identified and announced. Right now, we are in the third box you see here, submit your innovation. This stage is open till 6th March, that is the last date. It will not be extended as of now, and you will have to submit the innovations by 6th March. After you submit, they go through evaluations and the top teams are selected nationally and state-wise. Then the top teams go through an internship program. It's very rare for school students to get internships by corporate organizations. This is the first time this is happening through the marathon. So please do participate and send in your entries for this year. After that, from these top teams, further, promising teams are selected and they go through an entrepreneurship program for 11 months, at the end of which you might get a chance to patent and take your product to market in the form of a startup. So what are the timelines? Like I said, we launched on Children's Day, 14th November last year. Right now, we are in the innovation phase, which started on 14th December. And the final submissions have to be sent by 6th March. The results will be announced on 26th April. Some important points for all of you. Please form a team of only 2 to 3 students. Individual students cannot apply. You have to be in a team. And the team can be ATL and non-ATL students also. The final submission that you have to make are two things. One is a video, which you have to speak, where you speak and your teammates speak and they tell us what did you, which problem did you solve, what did you make, and show us your prototype. The other thing that you have to submit is a research document, and I will share more details on how you can make this document in the next few slides. Both these are mandatory. Like I already mentioned, each team must consist of maximum 3 students and minimum 2 students. One ATL in charge details is also needed. And the team composition and other guidelines are mentioned on the website. Last date again for everyone, it's 6th March. How do we motivate students? For all those schools who are participating for the first time, for students who are participating for the first time, there is lots to be gained by simply just submitting your entry. All of you who even submit an idea will get a certificate of participation from Atal Innovation Mission Niti Aayog. If you're doing this for the first time, you don't know how to go about it, try your best. In case you're not able to come up with an actual prototype, at least submit your research and your idea. That itself will give you a brilliant experience so that next year when you come back, you can actually stand a chance to be in the top teams. The top 300 teams will be selected from across India and they will get the internship opportunities. The top 10 per state will also be announced and they will get certificates of excellence from our side. Schools that submit more than 25 innovations will get a certificate and it will be given to the principal and the teacher and they'll be called the most active and innovative school for the ATL Marathon. So schools, teachers, principals, please make sure all the students participate, at least submit an entry. Just for participation of more than 25 innovations, you will get a certificate of excellence. The schools with most number of non-ATL students in their teams. That means include students from other schools that don't have ATLs. Include them as a part of your team, and those that do this will be called the most inclusive and community-friendly schools, and they will get special recognition and awards. Those, if your school has students that have special needs, please try and include them in your student teams. Make sure they're a part of the innovation process, and doing so will also give you special recognition, and we will call your school the most inclusive and community-friendly school as well. SIP is a student internship program, which I already mentioned. The top 300 teams will get a chance to do this. SEP is a student entrepreneurship program, which will be for the top 30 teams who will undergo an 11-month-long entrepreneurship program. These are two of our special books which we have launched from our side, and all of you, the top teams, if you are in the top, you'll get a chance to be featured here. These are stories of our top innovators from the marathon who share their experiences, their prototypes. We have their images also, and all of you can read these two books. They are on our website. Get inspired. Maybe you'll get ideas from what they have made. You can try and use that problem and find a better solution, maybe. And you also stand a chance to be in the top teams and get featured in such books which are launched. Bye. Some questions that we got from the students this year. How can you participate in the ATL Marathon? I will show you and walk you through how you can participate and show you on the website how you can get to the application form. You have to go to our AIM website, click on the banner of Marathon, and you'll be redirected to the MyGov page where you can fill in the form of Marathon, submit your entry, and that's how you can participate. What is the maximum number of participations? A school can have as many teams as they want. There is no limit to how many teams can participate from one particular school. How can you get students motivated? I think this is just what we covered. You can share all the prizes that are in store for students that just participate. And of course, if they submit an innovation, they will get a chance and have a chance to be in the top teams. And after that, there is no stopping them. As you just heard from the Saft Water team's co-founder, he was a marathon student who went on to now win that IBM Call for Code challenge. So there's lots to be gained. AIM always handholds students once they reach a certain stage, will connect you to the right people to take their prototype to the next stage. Schools that are participating for the first time, there are many things you can start off on how you can, engage your students. One is try and get all of them who are interested on a call. Ask them to read the problem statements and look around their neighborhoods, identify a problem, what they feel they are facing, their parents are facing, their friends are facing. And then in teams of 2 to 3 people, they can think of what, how can they possibly try and build a solution for it. They just have to come up with ideas first. And then you can handhold them, guide them, connect them to mentors who will be able to assist them with technologies to make that prototype come to life. And that is how there are steps that you can follow. And Manohar sir, who will speak right after me, he'll also give you some tips and tricks on this. What kind of activity will it be this time? What will be the reward? We have just covered this. The rewards are many. There are internships, there are certificates, there are awards and opportunities in store. It will definitely benefit not just students, but teachers also, principals also. It will take your school up to one of the top schools of the Atal Tinkering Labs that we have, and we have 9,000 plus ATLs. So being amongst the top of those is really an achievement, and we always recognize the top participating schools, no matter what opportunity comes in store in the future. Final date of submission is 6th March. Please submit your entries before that date. Specifically on submissions, how do you prepare your research document? So there are two ways. One thing you have to submit is it's just a simple Word document that you have to submit. And what kind of research you have to do? There are two kinds. One is a primary research, one is secondary research. In primary research, you have to prepare a short survey of 5 to 6 questions minimum. I mean, you can do an elaborate survey also, but to start with, create a simple survey regarding your problem. Identify some questions you would like to ask. Suppose you see that your grandparents are facing some difficulty. Try and write down 5 questions that you can ask them. Ask them those questions and note down their answers. Similarly, ask 4 or 5 other people and identify a pattern in their answers and try to interpret what they are trying to say to you. Put all this down in a Word document. The second thing you have to do is secondary research, which means Google your problem that you have selected. See in the world, in India, who else is facing that? Are there any existing solutions? What can you do to make it better? That is secondary research. So put all this down in a piece of on a Word document and submit that as your research. Um, how can you identify a challenge and state a problem? Some children have written that they face a lot of difficulties at this stage where, given the pandemic, it's difficult to, go out, look around you, find problems and, identify solutions. So Manohar sir is going to answer specifically this question also on how do you find a problem that you want to solve and what do you do to solve it. The third one is regarding prototypes and how to make a prototype. I will just share my screen after this where I'll show you there are lots of free modules available on our AIM website, how to learn AI, how to learn machine learning, robotics, IoT devices. These are all free to learn and you can easily just start reading it and you will try and get the basics of these skills. If you start going to the ATL Tinkering Lab, you can always use the kits and devices that are in the lab to make a hardware prototype. If not, you can always use programming to create a software prototype, an app or a website also. So those are some of the ways you can create prototypes. Finally, before we close, this is the other co-founder of the SAF Water team, and he also has a short message for all of you.
नमस्कार, मेरा नाम सत्यम प्रकाश है और मैं साफ वाटर टीम का एक सदस्य हूं। हमारी टीम हाल ही में कॉल फॉर कोड ग्लोबल चैलेंज जीती है। इस सब की शुरुआत अटल टिंकरिंग मैराथन से ही हुई थी। तो मैं आप सभी को ये कहना चाहूँगा कि आप बढ़ चढ़कर अटल टिंकरिंग मैराथन 2021 में भाग लें और अलग अलग प्रॉब्लम्स के लिए अपना सॉल्यूशन डेवलप करें। हो सकता है कि कल को आपकी टीम भी कॉल फॉर कोड ग्लोबल चैलेंज जीते। कीप इनोवेटिंग, keep tinkering.
So that was Satyam talking about the marathon and how he participated. I will share my screen and show you where you can find more details to participate in the marathon. आप सभी को ये वेबसाइट दिख रही होगी aim.gov.in। ये अटल इनोवेशन मिशन की वेबसाइट है। इस पे अगर आप बैनर जो यहाँ पे एक एरो दिख रहा है इस पे क्लिक करेंगे तो ये अगला बैनर मैराथन का है। Click on the marathon banner and you'll be navigated to this page, which has all the information about marathon. What are the themes? What are the problem statements? It has the participation guidelines as well. Please read all this and here to submit your ideas, this is what you have to click. Finally, submit your ideas and innovations. This form is in English as well as in Hindi. And the first question is, do you have an Atal Tinkering Lab in your school? If you don't have, click on no and it will ask you to select a nearby ATL school where you can partner with them and form a team together with them. If you have an Atal Tinkering Lab, click on yes, enter your ATL UID and automatically the name of the school, state, district will get populated. Enter your school name, full name, your contact number, email ID, team details, team size, ATL in charge name, and the mentor of change name. Once you fill all this, the next page will take you through your submissions. The questions will be which problem statement have you chosen, why have you chosen it, and enter your research document and the video. So that is a very simple form. This is a form that you have to fill to submit your entry. Please do this before 6th March. Don't wait till the last date. Do it much before that so that you don't face any technical issues while doing it. So now let me show you where you can find some reading material, learn and create a prototype. So if you click on AIM Initiatives, go to ATL Tinkering Labs. Under ATL Tinkering Labs, you'll find ATL curriculum. It's available in English and Hindi. And you can see we have Python learning, learn artificial intelligence, learn IoT computing, computational thinking, gaming, learn how to build a game. And this is very interesting for many students. 3D design and how you can use the 3D printer in your school. So these are all the learning materials that you can use to build your prototype or to just learn. For teachers as well, please use this for learning yourself and then asking and training your students in these particular skills. So that was my part where I give you a brief on the marathon. And as promised earlier, we do have a special talk from Mr. Manohar Desai on the tips and tricks on how you can be more inclusive as a school, get more non-science students to participate, non-ATL students to participate. And for the students, please stay tuned for this because Mr. Manohar Desai is going to tell you on how you can identify a problem, how can you learn how to build a solution for it, and so on. Mr. Manohar Desai has completed 33 years with Larsen and Toubro and has been associated with the corporate training technical department of this company. His domain expertise is in embedded system design and IoT, and he is presently working as a master trainer in Skill Training Academy of L&T. He is also associated with the Hope Foundation as a master trainer and has worked with many Atal Tinkering Lab schools from Maharashtra uh, to engage more and more community students, engaging non-science students and science students. And many of his students' innovations are now in patent stage, and they are also going to be available in the market very soon. So with that, Mr. Manohar Desai, sir, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Swati. Swati, can I share my embedded mobile screen where I can write and they can read it? I can share?
Yes, sir, you can share. You have
Yes.
the option to share.
Yes. So I'm just sharing. And this is mine. Can you see my mobile screen,
Yes,
Swati?
yes.
Okay. So thank you so much, Swati, for my introduction. And should I speak in Hindi, English, or specifically in English?
You can mix it, sir. English and Hindi both.
Okay, I can mix it because that is what. Uh, okay, so let us begin with what exactly projects and prototypes. So let me start with one particular story. For example, there is something called Fab Lab in India. Now, all these Fab Labs, these are all actually fabrication labs, specially made for non-technical people. So it has happened so that somebody who is not in engineering, somebody is not in science, do you mean to say he cannot innovate anything, or do you mean to say he cannot give any ideas? It's not like that. It is something like ideas coming in everybody's mind, but the only thing is sometimes what happen, we always connect these ideas with the physics, with the chemistry, with the science and other things. So keeping that in mind, there is a very famous Nobel winner, Edward Debeno. He used to think about that in 19, I think 69, he thought that why the cars should not be innovated like a horse. Look, there is one particular time when you will find the all four legs of the horse, they are on a they are on a in a air, that you can't like you can get a speed like that. So he was just thinking that, but then he thought that I am not a physicist, I am only psychiatrist or psychologist, so who will listen to my ideas? So there is something called Fab Lab has come into India. Then in that there were many solutions have given to the non-science and non-technical people, that you create your idea and we will provide you the technology to connect all those ideas. So why I'm telling you all these stories, after this Edward Ibeno, now General Electric, they were thinking about a car which will jump, which will drive, which will jump. It is under the innovation, not yet completed. People are thinking that if car can have a little bit lift and then move and then come down, so something with the vibrations and other thing. So this is what is somebody who is not connected with the technical things, somebody who is not in a science but can create an idea. Okay, so today I'm going to connect you, or I'm going to share my experience with ATL Tinkering Lab. From last 2 years we were working on this three things. One is very important thing, that is a prototype. So everything, whatever we learn, whatever we do, we have converted into the activities. And every time, if I want to learn IoT, if I want to learn robotics, if I want to learn drone, I will think the activity out of that. And first of all, it should come into my mind that who is going to use this? Why am I learning this? And can I make some prototype out of it? So that gives you the thought. You can say ideas. So we first think about the ideation, like, yes, what is in my area? Water problem, any problem. Like, I'm learning something in science. Uh, let's talk about the very famous thing, which is a Arduino. In that Arduino, there are many microcontrollers are so easy. Now you can connect it, and it's a even a child from 8th standard also can use that Arduino. There are some sensors. So first of all, I will learn Arduino. First of all, I will try to find out the understand the idea. What is my idea? And then I am fix it with technology. Okay. So that is the next part. Second part. Third part is I will just read about the things. That is a lot of material. Okay. Now material in the form of books, form of ebooks, form of some um, physical material, like some motors, some controllers, some sensors. By bringing all these things, the fourth important thing I will do is what I will do, draw. I will try to picturize my idea, whatever idea comes into my mind. Let me take the example of planting the, like watering the plant. Let me take the idea of the watering the plant. Now watering the plant, if I take this idea, what all I need? I need a tap. I need to control the tap. So solenoid valve. So there is a sensors who will understand that exactly plant is dry or not. So there is some sort of thing which is called sensor. Okay. What I want next? Okay, when the sensors tells me now it is dry, it should on. So some controlling unit. So that is how I will first just draw the idea. One is idea in my mind. Second, I want to fix it with a technology. Third, I need a material. That material is a physical material or a paper material or the n number of information about that those things. Then I will draw those things. So maybe electronic drawing, maybe physical drawing, like some free scale drawings or something, where I can see drawing is a language. It's finally, if I want to explain somebody, I need to either I will have to talk and explain him, and immediately what will happen if I want to show some anything to explain to somebody, like I want to show some road or some address, I will immediately take a paper and then go like this, go straight, go here. So that sort of guideline, that sort of footstep. So I will draw some things. Okay. Then fifth is what I will do, exactly what I need to do first. So we normally call a lower hanging fruit. Now, in lower hanging fruit is what? Suddenly I will not go to the internet or IoT. For example, same example which I am taking. Somebody is telling me that okay, plant and then it has to be water the plant whenever the plant is soil is dry, it should start another thing. Somebody tells me nowadays there are something which is coming automatically on mobile also, you can do it. Okay, fine, no issue. I can go for it. But first thing what I will do is, first thing I will take a tap, take a sensor, take a controller. If it is dry, water should start. If it is wet, it should stop the solenoid valve. Only small things. That is what I am talking about, the lower hanging fruit. Now, when I draw these kind of lower hanging, then I will think, okay, can I connect mobile and operate? So yes, I can connect the mobile and operate. So second, immediately it should come into my mind, okay, if I am connecting to the mobile, then what are the things I should know? So then it comes to the, okay, then I have to make an app. That how to make an app? See, when first we start with the idea, then slowly we do the modification, we do. Then I will think, okay, if I want to make an ad, let me learn about the app. So I will go and find out how to make an app, so that suddenly the Python programming will come in picture. So in keeping that in mind, I will go to the Python programming, try to learn something, try to make some small app, and then I will connect with the mobile. Okay. Seven, I'm just thinking that I'm not at home and I want to what are the plan? Okay. So that means I am not at home. So definitely I will need something to connect. So I will go to the internet. Now, what is this internet is going to do? It's a very fantastic thing of Wi-Fi's, and so many apparatuses are there. I will connect that sensor to the Wi-Fi. So microcontroller or some node MCU will help me. So slowly I will add on a Wi-Fi controllers. Like I mean node MCU or Raspberry Pi, or there are many Arduinos also connected with that. So that gives me idea what, okay, now I'm not at home. I've gone somewhere else. So I need to have something called information, a SMS or something. So 8, what I will do, protocol. So with which particular protocol I will use to send my information to this. And then once again, I will go and I will make some sort of a small app, or you can say a dashboard, or I will use some free open source, you can say free open source cloud, which is like Blink, or many other companies are there to give the open source this thing, and I will use that, and then I will be able to do what, finally my complete picture from my basic idea to operating through internet or going to that becomes your the complete thing. Now once this gets over, when I say over, I don't want to say the complete thing is happened. Then comes the important part, is a physical, you can say physical things. Now in physical things also, I will go step by step. I will not go directly and jump to the internet Wi-Fi's and other thing. I will not do that. I will go step by step. So how do I go for the step by step? Now here comes one important technique, that it's like a chakra view. When you are having a lot of ideas, there are people who have a lot of ideas in air. They will keep on talking for hours and hours on all these ideas. What is exactly, like they will say, okay, then get the internet, do this, do that, do that, do that, all those things, blah blah blah. Remember one thing, if you want a final product to come out within a time frame, you will have to go step by step. And those baby steps are: take only three things, connect it, check it, keep it, write down there as a test points. Second thing, connect another things, integrate that with that previous thing and do it. So if I have to draw, I will just say stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, but all are interlinked. And then comes the teamwork. Now, when you select your group, there are strengths and weaknesses. Everybody knows that I'm good in physical, doing kinematics in a better way. I'm good in doing the documentation. I'm good in maybe mobile app, another thing. So make your group in such a way that you will have the different strength people in your group in and divide your work. Keeping all four people busy with the first stage is not going to help. So 1, 2, 3, 4 stage, you will have to divide accordingly with a time limit, and understand when you begin here, you will have to reach up to this stage with a small baby step. So every time you will have to check and troubleshoot that exactly whatever you are doing it is feasible or not. Is it going to get integrated or not? Okay. So this is what is when you begin thinking some idea and going from one by one step to this. One day, what will happen, you will come out with something on a table, like everything is available, everything is working fine, breadboarding and putting inside the box and everything, it is on table now. Now comes your designer person who is going to keep everything under one particular in particular one box, then the shape of that, whether aerodynamic, and here comes the creativity. Now this creativity is for outside look. Outside look is because, and in outside look doesn't mean only shiny things or something. Everything should have some concept behind it. Somebody is designing some let's say some apparatus, handhold apparatus, to check some pH value or something. It has to be very smooth, it should not have a proper corners and other thing. So there the creativity, and then very important thing is designing etiquettes. Now what is designing etiquettes? Designing etiquettes means you you have to take care of the person who is a final user. Now you cannot make the corners very sharp. So there are something who normally designer, something which is you are making in a when it will go to the hands of some user who is not a technically sound, instructions, properly instruction, which particular button, for example, I have one particular things in my hand and some box where my project is there. Where is a button, whether here or here? Where should be a power cord, whether here or down? Can I put this in hand, or do we have something which is I can put it on a table? So all those thought you'll have to put it into that. And then when the team work, everybody is giving their contribution, finally you will come out with a final product which will give you, this final product will give you the complete you can say picture of from your idea to your use, that is application. Now one important thing I want to tell you here is let's say you are in one small village. Now all this thing what I have explained is okay, plant another thing. Now you are in some village, you have got plenty of, there is no water problem over there, but there is a problem of light. So you don't get a proper power supply in all those some areas. Now battery or solar battery is very important in that. Some product which will be useful for night, like you can say there are many animals, they get inside your and they spoil the crops and other thing, there are many problems. Can I connect the sensor over there which will give me the silent SMS, not the huge buzzer or something, but somebody can develop a circuit that full day time the complete solar system will work. It will store the particular power, and later on that power after evening will be supplied to these controllers and sensors. So project can be like this. Project need not be a complete solution of the whole things, not necessarily. It can be a part of some small thing which is a very innovative. One cannot design a particular project where it all depends on the batteries only. Like you will have to have a 230 supply, otherwise my project will not work. So those things should not work. So suppose you are staying in such an area where there is no power supply, all your thinking should be such that how do I'm facing some problem, and immediately how you will find out, talk to the people, like what are their problems and other thing. How do they manage with these problems, and then sit quietly and think, can I use this Atal Tinkering Lab, can I use this all this technology to solve their problem. You will find there are many problems which can be solved with a very systematic way by using minimum technology also. You need not to be a great scientist or the great people to solve all those problems. What only you have to do is your creative mind, your innovative mind, you will have to apply. Now, coming back to the Atal Tinkering Lab and my experience with this. Now, I know that there are teachers and students, and many are in this, they are watching this. Now, to begin this, you will have to assign at least minimum 10 ideas from your school. Like like you make a group or do one thing, tell them to go and get a data. Get a data from your area, understand the problem. So student will go, they will talk to the people, they themselves will think, and they will come out with some 10 different problems. Out of those 10 problems, first let them think. That is what we call it as a design thinking. Let them think that okay, problem is there. Can you tell me now what can be a solution for this? Now, if somebody tells that this is the solution, that is a solution, don't tell him no, this will not apply. This is not possible. This is not done. This may not be able to do. So all those negative things you should not say. Welcome their ideas, because otherwise what will happen is you are stopping their mind. The moment he will give 5 suggestions, he is about to keep quiet later on. He will not give any suggestion. So what I used to do it like under Hope Foundation, all those 17 schools which we were doing. Last in COVID areas, we did around 175 different projects. Students, because of the COVID, they were at their place. So something which is not even in the Atal Tinkering Lab, they used to get it from some raw materials or something, and they have created small projects. That's how we made them the habitual to think about the anything is useful, convert that and try to solve some problem. Like you will find one particular innovation which I know in Assam, uh, the laborers, they used to remove those tea leaves, and they used to face a lot of problem with their hands and everything. Somebody has designed a small cutter, so easily they can take out the leaves and their hands will be very safe indoors. Very small innovation. Very simple innovation, but very useful because that has benefited to the larger this one. So many of my trainers and my students, they got these ideas, they have discussed amongst themselves, and they have shaped these kind of. Do not discourage even a single small idea. And coming back to the patenting, another thing, don't think that what you are doing is for the end result. Like all the project has to go for the patent and everything. No, if you keep on looking towards this particular area in a way that yes, I want to get my project and prototype patent only, and then you, if you follow, it is not going to happen. You start doing it, you keep on doing it on that. Now I'm 100% sure that if your idea is novel and if your idea is unique, you are going to get the patent. It is not that how much technology you are using in that, it is what idea you are giving and how much social, uh, I mean, you are helping to the majority of the masses and towards the social side. That matters actually. So every time, don't think about the technology. Tell your students to now there comes the non-science students. Now most of the time non-science students think that ATL, anyway I am not going to become an engineer, I am not going to be a technocrat, I don't want this, I will not go inside the ATL lab only. Don't do that nowadays. Let's take an example of somebody wants to become an entrepreneur. Now okay, he says that I am not going to create anything and I'm going to spend. I'm good in entrepreneurship. I will do the business. So you give me the product, I will do that. Now, how the ATL Tinkering Lab will help him? ATL Tinkering Lab will help him to collect the data and put it inside the Raspberry Pi and give him that particular data for taking decisions. Like, I want to sell some XYZ product. The friend who wants to be an entrepreneur, he is going to the villages and trying to understand what are their requirement and bringing all those requirement, writing down everything, putting into the data and everything, and then he is making it signal. If requirement is more than 100, then I need some SMS to come to me. If this thing happens, then I want this decision. So my taking decision using data. Now, computation and playing with the data will be done in ATL Tinkering Lab. Maybe there are some students who will be looking after the computational thinking and other thing. Give them that data. That entrepreneur boy should go and visit the ATL lab, talk to their students who are there and get them mix. That is what is one example which I am giving for as an entrepreneur. Even I take I want to become a very good lawyer. It's not my. I don't want to be a science person or any technocrat. But even lawyers require a lot of, there are so many books in them. Now, if a boy want to analyze something or a bubbling sort of thing, in our programming, we have bubble sort on sorting. I've got a 10 cases. Out of that, this case matches with this, what result this might have given to this. This all work is going on. So how do I like connect with all these things and get information, data analytics and other thing? Can this will help me? Definitely I can talk to my ATL person that do we, if I give you some huge data, can you do the computation and give me? Yes, you can do. Sportsmen, you know, when Germany won this World Cup maybe 2-3 years back, there were a lot of data analysis they did. And using this data analysis, they used to understand that uh, the ball which they pass, every sportsman, it takes, I think, some 30 second or 40 second. Now, if they want to win a cup, they have to reduce that time with 30 seconds. So from 45 second to 30 second. So that's how they played. They have practiced in this way. That now who helped them? The data analytics will. What is data analytics finally? It finally comes under the all our controllers and other things, and many things we analyze all those things through computers, through this thing. So you cannot come out from this particular this thing that yes, it is ATL is not my baby. It is not. It's not like that. Painters. Obviously, I need not to tell you about the painters and everything. Okay. So in short, all science people or all non-science people can combine. Now let us come to the community schools. When we started working with the community school, see, as I mentioned in the first this one, ideas can come out from anybody's mind. That I can give a plenty of examples that the great scientists also got ideas in some or the other way. Like if you, I think all of you must be knowing there are many stories that it just come ideas. So it is nobody's property. Like I mean, one cannot say that I'm highly qualified and I'm because I'm highly qualified, I'm innovative. No, innovation is not a baby of somebody's XYZ or something. So it can come to any school. Now you have a ATL school. In your surrounded area, there are many community schools. They do not have this infrastructure, but they have ideas. I think you being a hub, you can connect with this all spoke models with a go call them in ATL school, go to them, talk to them, give them some same scenario, let them understand what are the ideas and everything. Can they interact with our ATL school childrens or the teachers, all the lab in charges, and say, sir, I've got this idea. Can you help me in working in ATL lab so that I can convert this idea into the actual prototype? Please do help them, because ultimately what is going to happen is these ATL labs are going to spread in the communities. It is not possible for any government to give all these ATL labs in all the schools. So let us not think about in a selfish way of only ATL, my lab will be benefited. No, don't do that, because, and of course, you can mix that community boy and your boy together and give them experience. See, if you expand, then you will come out with the many projects. So if I say, when I say 256 project or 175 projects, see, many community schools also helped us. So even I am really happy that all these ATL school can also connect to the community schools, and they will come together and do the justice with this all infrastructure which we have developed. Okay. And any specific question, Swati, if I have covered all the points, uh, you want me to take some questions?
So there are some questions just on how to participate, and that I'll take up
Okay.
once you're done.
In connection with technical things,
Let me just see. Mm, can you tell some ideas for making anything in education?
okay. So if I have to talk something about the in education area, for example, there are many simulators. So in this is a question for by teacher or by student.
Well, it's not mentioned.
Okay. So
Who's
if it
this?
is for teacher and if it is
Yes.
for student, I will answer both. If it is for teacher, there are many things which is simulations have. There are open source simulations. If you want to give a concept of the physics or maths or even any geographical this one, you will find there is a Edupedia site. In that Edupedia, you will find there are many applets are there. Now applets is a word something where you feel like you can connect simulations and other thing, and it will interactive simulations. Like students will feel as if they are doing it. Like for example, I just give an example of the friction or something. So there will be a box and then somebody is pushing that, and then that there are many models which is actually on screen it works. Even by showing these particular models also student get some ideas like yes I can make some lever in such a way that in my area, okay, there are many trucks comes and many heavy machines they have to uplift and other thing. I will simplify their thing by doing it this how to use this lever and other thing. So that is how in for for teachers I can say there are many simulators and many things starts from the Ohm's law and some simple physics to any complicated circuits and everything. So you can start using applets. Then we call it as a flash. In flash also there are many education things are available, which is good when you look at that particular thing. Concept gets immediately clear with the visuals and everything. And for student, look at very good question for if student have asked, you are in school, you will find there are many things which you can create and which will help your school. For example, you must be having some bail or something. Why this particular bail? Do I have to? Can I write one particular program that particular bail can be easily within a time it will take care. Like for example, it will not. One should not keep a track of all these things. What will happen? I will give a schedule from Monday to Friday, and for Saturday half day, everything will be programmed and it will be automatically done. That is for school. Number of students today, if principal wants how many number of students are there in the school today, can connect one particular counter at the gate where you can have a up and down counter and it will be there that today in school numbers so and so. There are many projects in school areas we can do. Many taps, some taps automatically. Just put your hand, the water will come. Just take out your hand, water will stop. Small sensor, LDR, one bulb. Start using all these project ideas in your school itself, so that school will be also happy. They will find that this Atal Tinkering, when the Atal Tinkering Lab has come, my school becomes automated or something beyond that. So many ideas are there in schools and other thing. Okay, Swati?
Yes, sir. There is one question whether all the projects should be using the ATL components or in any form, like they can use animation and other software tools as well.
I think in marathon, you are talking about they are talking about the ATL lab, or let me tell you about the marathon. Only simulation will not work. For marathon, we have to go for the prototype and other thing, and the complete design has to be submitted to the this one to the authorities.
Yes. Yeah, and to add to that,
Mm.
uh, if you want to stand a chance to be in the top teams, then yes, a complete prototype is needed. You can submit a hardware prototype, which means using ATL equipment, or you can submit a software prototype like an app, build it using programming. Since we know many of the schools are shut, you can only submit a software prototype also. In case you just want to participate, just for the experience, you can just participate using an idea or a research document also. And we will evaluate it and you will get participation certificates, but you might not stand a chance to be in the top teams if you don't submit a prototype. A few other questions. So, the number or the email ID of Mr. Desai sir will be shared with all the teachers of all the ATLs, and you can reach out to the ATL in charge of your school to if you wish to speak to sir again after this session. The other two, three questions that I can take up are whether the same teacher can be a part of different teams. Yes, a same ATL in charge can be a part of different teams of your school, or if it's too much work for one teacher, then you can ask other teachers of the school to be mapped to these teams as well. Is it mandatory to prepare physical prototype as schools are closed? No, just like I said, it is not mandatory to get a physical prototype. A software prototype will also do. Where can you upload the video and research document? The video and research document, as I showed in this YouTube live, you have to upload in the marathon application form. After this live is over, this is a recorded session. You can rewind and see the steps. They are clearly mentioned on how to upload it. Okay, so those were the questions for today. And I want to thank everyone for joining us and staying till the end. I'm sure Mr. Manohar Desai's session was really informative, useful for all students and teachers. Make note of that. Watch this video again if you have to. And we're looking forward to getting the maximum innovations from your school. Take your school to the top, make it the most innovative school of all the tinkering labs in India. And it is up to all of you, all the students and the teachers. Thank you so much once again, and we'll meet again for the marathon session next week on Thursday. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you.